Well, hello there guys, and welcome to the channel. Now, first things first, let me make it absolutely clear. What you saw was a presentation made by WhiteMummy, who is an officer in charge of Alliance War in New Nation Alliance, and he's also the same person that has been extremely helpful for a ton of things for my channel and graphics and animated videos, and he's an absolutely amazing guy. But besides being an amazing guy, he is arguably one of the most knowledgeable people when it comes to Alliance War and how it's historically performed and the issues within it. And this is his concept. I deserve no credit or praise, nor this has anything to do with Kabam or this would be Kabam's plan or idea. However, the purpose of this is to push these ideas a bit further and get more people in community talking about them, and well, basically present them to Kabam, and hopefully some of them, if not all, can make their way into the game in near future. So I'm gonna start with his read up and his introduction to it all. So he explains basically that he has been an officer in charge of Alliance War, setting up defense and stuff like that for New Nation, who is one of the stronger Alliance War alliances in the game. I believe they finished in top 3 in this past season as well. And there is a message of, first of all, is the only real competitive part of the game, but that's not the main reason. All aspects of the game, like story content in all forms, AQ, monthly quests, side quests, they all get repetitive after doing them a few times. What AW is, in fact, is a new content released every war that we also do it as a team. Every time Alliance designs a map, they create new content and new challenges, and that's why they are exciting. It also results in creative placements and combinations that even Kabam have used some of them in permanent content because of the interesting interactions. Sometimes lack of good global designs and maps getting old makes AW repetitive too, but I believe that this map can last for a very long time as a tool to create new content in form of AW maps. Here are the main rules while placing defense: 20 outer circle fights, as we saw, and 30 inner circle fights plus the 3 bosses that would be duplicates of already placed defenders. Here is basic idea of the map, where we can see that the circle, and then we have 20 fights on the outside, 20 on the inside, and 3 main bosses. Right, every player places 5 defenders, just like they do now, and officers can duplicate 3 of the defenders and place them as 3 bosses. 2 of the bosses are visible by the alliance member, by the opponent, and by the opponent when the war starts, but the main boss is hidden by the alliance members and the opponents until all 10 players in the opposing teams join the battle group and lock in their attackers, which is kind of interesting aspect of that. I absolutely 100% support that. Then officers can ban 1 attacker for inner circle fights and another for outer circle fights, which makes it even more interesting, because the entire idea behind banning 1 attacker on the inside, 1 on the outside, can also create some sort of a safe haven, let's say for Mystic Champions. If you ban Human Torch on the inner circle fights, then you can actually place Mystic Champions and expect them to get some sort of kills, right? just like Magneto can absolutely demolish pretty much all the metal defenders, but if you ban Magneto on the outer circle fights, then they would be relatively safe. And that could, yeah, create a lot more interesting dynamics as well. And just having one attacker banned in either side would not also be overly intrusive, I believe. This simple rule can create many interesting global situations. Most of the times what AW Global do is just stop using certain champions, no offense, but it gets repetitive quickly. And that is true, especially when we take a look at High Ground. High Ground 100% only gets used right now in Alliance War to stop Quake. Nothing else. It does nothing else for anyone. It doesn't change fights in any essence. So the defensive tactic already kind of does what's suggested here to be done. Rules for offense. Every player has 5 tickets that then they can use them to unlock fights. 2 tickets for outer fights and 3 tickets for the inner fights. Any player can fight bosses and they do not require tickets to be unlocked. Players can reserve their assigned fights with the tickets at the start of the war and do them at any order, with one rule, that they have to finish outer circle fights first. This map does not need any movement or AW energy. And I think that is, again, quite wonderful situation where you can A, avoid somebody stealing your fights in some alliances where it's kind of free for all, and B, you can do these fights in your own time, in your own pace. And obviously, the energy situations can completely resolve here as well when you're not waiting either to move or unlink or give somebody your energy. And the ticket system, I think, would work much better for Alliance War than whatever we're doing currently. It would be great if we have a tool for officers to assign fights to players, like when assigning players to different battle groups. Officers go in and click on each fight, and list 10 players pops up, and they can assign it to any of them. And they can also see how many remaining fights they have assigned to anyone, and also see which fights are remaining to be assigned. That would be absolutely amazing. So entire planning happens in game, and officers just need to tell players what team they have to bring. Some other options. In the past, when I started arranging defense, it was more about which champion is harder for each node and just looking at the nodes individually. Then I realized that you can design paths instead of nodes, and it makes harder for the opponent to plan it for 10 players. I always had problem arranging defense. There was always an interesting placements, but you would never do them because depending on the globals we had, where we're gonna get destroyed by Quake, Corvus Glaive, or Ghost. For example, Tech Mutant and Evader defenders got better placements during Protect Global because they were not Corvus Glaive missions. But last season you could not give them any nodes because a few anti-CG nodes like Rage, well, besides a few anti-Corvus Glaive nodes like Rage or Buffet. And that is true. Like, a single champion vastly affects meta, and that's why this banning a single attacker from inside or outside is, I think, a very great idea. Another example is all Mystic attackers after Human Torch, or so on and so forth. You kind of get the point. Another point is when everyone in the alliance has to take equal number of fights, alliances get more balanced in terms of skill. No longer we need to have somebody carry the BG and take 12 fights while someone else takes 2 fights, and will eventually show the true potential of every alliance as a group. And I do agree to that. There's always a significant misbalance on people in the alliances. And don't get me wrong, like, obviously here, right now, with this system, with this method, you could still assign harder fights to some players, but the idea that there is always a whole bunch of people just kind of like sitting back and kicking back and, yeah, doing not much. I don't know. This would seem like more of a team effort, but that's just me. And this is the idea that has been set up. And I know WhiteMummy has tried its hardest to present it to Kabam as well, through the ticket system, where he sent it, and he basically just got a single sentence automated reply once he sent it all in with the videos, with the maps, with everything else. And that is a generic automated response about updates. And then he basically included more files and more explanation. And as a second response has been this: I think it will be automatically closed in 48 hours. That's typical Kabam. But either way, I think it is an amazing idea. I think it is a great, solid plan. And maybe if not all, maybe not if every single aspect, then at least definitely parts of it would make Alliance were significantly better than it is right now. Don't think it's any secret, but as far as competitive Alliance war goes, it's pretty much never been in worse shape than it is right now. All that being said, I hope you guys like the idea, and if you do, then make sure that this video and the text from this video description, where I'm gonna try and copy paste all of this write up that I just went through, make it to Kabam one way, shape, form or another, and hopefully somebody does take a look at it, and hopefully something good comes to Alliance War. And just to make sure that there are no confusions, this is not Kabam designed project at all. In fact, this is just basically fan made. It's players who play Alliance War at a very high level, who have worked on this, designed it, and also provided graphics and videos for it. So it has nothing to do with CCP, it has nothing to do with Kabam, it has to do with the players who want Alliance War to get better, because it's very, very bad right now. And yeah, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons. I'll catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the